can change that other thing. So the third option here, it's if it's not learned others or in the theoretical form or in the practical form. You also open the way to other ways. Actually, this dialogue was heavily about the other way. We know he asked him what is a lot of dialogue go. What is the virtue of the what is the virtue? What is the virtue? What is the good? And X, Y, Z, and other, and the other, and but just look on what make on the one. It's a lot of the leaning of the dialogue. What makes something distinct from other thing. Socrates answers to him. For of Thessalia, before the people of this were, were, fam were famous between the Greeks and grand in their adored in the fighting and the richness. Seems to me by the wisdom. They won glory. Those of the city of Aristippus and is the fall of Larissa. That because first of all it starts there was a he gave some form of good word on how great it is, or good word about him. I forgot the word right now. And it could be understood as an ironic statement, but also as a sincere statement. Point out that between the masses and the to some degree, the people that he come from were famous and adored what considered virtuous by them providing horses, how rich they are, meaning how much wealth they have. But now he points at it's the wisdom, meaning how some change. Well, from what you think would be, it seems to me more close to between more some form of as what causes joy of sort. And riding horses, it's causes joy to people. It's something that it's riding horses, meaning sport, for example. People watch sport because it's pleasant to them, because it's disconnecting them, and so on. Also, money. With money, you can buy things, and you are constrict yourself to a more limited world. while while in the wisdom, it's not necessarily lead to more money, necessarily lead even to more joy. I would even add. Myself would ask the question if wisdom is good, and as why it moved to wisdom. It's still not stated here. He continued, and because and and that happened referred to the movement toward wisdom by Gorgias, which because when he got to your city, people came to him because of his wisdom. Over a lot. People came to him because of wisdom of, of the important family of the Eloidim. Eloidus, yes. Some from Eloidim is a family, your which is your family, Aristophanes. The importance of the rest of the saga. And he also you they have inhabited within you as in something kind of internal in the translation. It is not in fear. It is not in fear or in gladness that you are response to what someone asks you, because it's understood from what it seems. It is by attain by being by having wisdom, and because that also Gorgias in place Gorgias himself placing himself to in a service to every Greek and Greek that that have a question and is not afraid from answering. Back back to the dialogue of Gorgias, that he can or the our dialogues themselves tend to be like that. Happening in Gorgias, the basic question was, it said on the Gorgias that he can answer everything. But to them, it's a dialogue on two brothers that have a story about, that have an answer to that have the arguments that argument. However, it seems that Socrates in Gorgias' name wisdom. I don't think in Gorgias at least it don't seem that Plato holds such views that it's wisdom. Again, could be understood in more ironic fashion. But I do think that there is an element of sincerity about it. And Now that I'm looking, it's also used the translation between. In the start, it says that they are known by their wisdom, and now they are known by their knowledge about things, meaning it have some in Gogia sense it have more appearance in it, more appearance in it, but I think it can also be taken as sincere, as it's not outside of the imagined to say that the wisdom is a truth that is connected from knowledge. So, and it is something important to, if you try to inquire about the world, you try to knowledge or wisdom. Okay. Further on, continuing here, opposite of the thing, attaining wisdom, attaining knowledge, more correctly, it was hit us, it was strike us of dry wisdom. Wisdom is as a compound. Okay, and it appears, and it's look like that, and it looked like were we were took out of our roots. From our roots to your and to your wisdom. One sec. Okay. They don't talk about the same wisdom that the pontiff. Yeah, because higher of wisdom, meaning that where Gorgias went, there was certain form of understanding of wisdom. Mm. And as Athenian, we were separated in our wisdom from you. And, okay. Because because here, if we present your question before all that presence here, say, you wouldn't have a single man that would laugh and say, dear, so it's a appears that in your eyes and one of the more the blessed in happiness. The teaching it is learned. It is learned the good virtue. Teacher. The answer already concluded in the context. And they were rooted from the core question. Just the way which come to human and I am further from all knowing from all knowing if in teaching being attained or in or not in teaching. It's interesting because you're talking and the basic and people pay to him in order to learn. Also, unity also raised that if people by a teacher attained, it's open the position that the knowledge being attained with money or by money motive, which connect to the first part in that even though they think that it is wisdom, that he says that before they were famous in the riding and in the richness. Okay. Okay. Continue. So this goes so far that I don't know entirely what virtue, but and what is a good virtue. I am like that. Menon, with the people of my city are are impoverished from this facade. And I I say bad things about myself. It is the good virtue and not nothing. Maybe don't know what it is. Would I know how it operates? And is it possible? And is it possible to your opinion, that the one who don't know at all, and is it possible in your opinion that the one that don't know at all to know Menon it is, to know who is Menon? He is knowledgeable, rich, or noble, or every opposite of that from that. Is it possible in your understanding? You get to and here nation what we ask when we ask what we don't know in the air, we know things. If we don't know what the thing is, how can we know? How can find? But how can, if we don't know what the thing is, how can we know what it is? How can we know how it operates? Closer to it. First, we need to know that we know. sort of thing. So not that we know, but we need to know the things. Correct. No, you, but you, Socrates, is really nothing. No, sorry. No, but you, Socrates, do you, but do you, Socrates, know, not know? Sorry. Um, no, but do you really, Socrates, don't know what is the good virtue? And that's how we should tell about you when you go back home? Oh, the visitor. Meaning the sophist is coming from external or not only response, but I haven't met a man till now who knows that. Me. And what? Haven't you met Gorgias when he was here? And it's not appeared to you that you know? My memory Gorgias is the one that know. Socrates says that he do know about before. I think that, as I pointed out, it could be understood that he's not genuine in his knowledge, meaning that his knowledge is not really teach. Also in Gorgias, they reach a similar conclusion. You can't really teach if the knowledge comes from within the man and not external, and not from external force to him. Socrates is one thing. My memory is a bit weak from that. Because of that, I can't say back then. But maybe you know the, the thing. But in you that now said, if so, if that you now said if so, remind me. Yes, willing to, or no, or if you are willing to, or if you are willing to speak in your name, because your opinion is way of discussion was in the Gorgias. The student of Gorgias, as they claim to argue in the name of Gorgias. So he pointed out that it's not Gorgias but him. Also raise here the element of memory. It in some form of avoidance, from what it seems. Because he tried to point out that he tried to redirect by the discussion to the ideas themselves and not to the person who said them. He do so, he don't remember. He don't remember, but it seems that you might represent it. he represent whatever Meno represent it. Himself or Gorgias, it doesn't really matter. If anything. And so, agree. And we start to argue the discussion. If he put he, if we might assume that he, not because he, we assume that what he said, because we don't have, because he's not with us now, and maybe him we leave alone Gorgias because he not with us. You yourself, Menon, in the name of God, would say, what is in your words? What is teaching? What is your teaching for the good virtue? Say it, and don't remove. It will figure it. For good luck, we find it now that a lie was in my mouth, because and it's a good luck that we will find you don't know that a man that know it. You would know it. Isn't it so, Gorgias? It appears that there is no. There isn't hardship to say that, Socrates. Hardship to say what is the good virtue. First of all, if the virtue, if the good virtue of man, that if you ask for the good virtue of the man, it is it to explain that it's the good virtue. It's the virtue of it's the manhood virtue that it's the good man virtue, and which would that it would be possible to ask to the business of his country, and about that better with his friend, and to be to help his friend and harm his enemy, his friend, and to cause the enemy. And beware that he himself wouldn't happen to him something bad. And if you ask the good virtue of the woman, can be hard, but she need to manage well the business of the house when she keep on what it have within it, and obeying her husband. And the other, it's the virtue of the good kid, the kid virtue, the good kid virtue, which differ from that of the girl, which, which differ from the girl. And again, that of the old man. And if you ask the good virtue of the old man, of the three old men, and well, they are other with their choose until the many more, until what the one who explained wouldn't place to explain what is the good virtue. By every way of business and by every age to us, and for every act from our act the virtue, and so the right, the evil, and so it appears to me, Socrates. We don't explain to him what is the good virtue, but what is the good virtue of something, meaning the virtue is something that depends on the person, state of the person, if it's old or if it's man or woman, and so on and so on. What more you add, and there are many more, meaning that there are many, you can explain it by them. Socrates responded in the same fashion. Many of I fell upon a great lack appears in my hand, Meno, for one good for a good virtue, and I found a swarm of good virtues within you. Meno, to continue in the meaning of the swarm of bees, if I ask you on the essence of the bee, what is it? And you said that it's many, both from a kind, I mean, from kinds that there are many, and from many kinds. What would you question? There are bees, and there are many in your same kind, and differ one from another. That they are not differ between one another at all, like in size, beauty, or anything else kind. Tell, tell me then, what would you respond? So, do I state on the good, what is good man or the woman, but what is the virtue of virtue? So, give the image of swarm of bees. What is the bee? Then what the many bees, what differ between the many bees. This also point out that when we learn things or learn about things, we need to to find what distinct, what distinct between each bee. For example, color can be, size can differ. They might have different. Oh, I'm not about this, but differ between each other. Yet we are saying that they are the same thing. Make them the same thing. Respond to him that about that it's I wouldn't respond to a question instead. Would respond to a question that it's because they are busy from the fact they are busy they're in anything on another. They are the same. And if I would say, suppose continuing to I would say afterward. If so, tell me about these things that they are Meno. The things that are not different in shape in any way, all as one in it. What is it in your teaching? Because you could answer me such question, I could. And also in the virtual good. The fact there are many and for many, and they have the virtue are many and from it's that they are still in the same image only that we call them a good virtue. And it would better to see in our eyes, to see in the eyes of every response on the question, good virtue. Do you not understand my saying? That I understand what you mean. And capture the question, my ability. Part of settling. You added something. Socrates added in the question that because of that they are a good virtue. That one thing. What makes them good virtue? Meaning, you also move from a principle about bees or non-related to a virtue, meaning he assumed in the question that the virtue that a good virtue is one. Socrates explained further that האם the good virtue alone you assume you understand that there is one for the man and the other to the woman, and for the rest, or that also to the health, size, and power. Do you do you think that man is separate, is separated, and for the woman is separated itself? It, it's in every place. It's in every place. If if indeed whatever it would be found in man between any other creation. For the health, I believe it is one for the man and the woman. And isn't it so? We connect something very human to the virtue here. Health and virtue. Okay. As for the health, do you? Uh, and isn't it the same in its size or power? If indeed the powerful in the image itself, in the powerful itself, but in itself, by that full differ as being powerful between as being powerful, whatever it would be placed between man or woman, I think that there is a change in that. I don't think so. You also continue to power, and for the Tzotzimachus argument, the powerful is the good. I don't really get the size and to think about it. Hmm. And would it and would it and would the virtue as it being virtue, and would the virtue change as it being virtue, whatever it would be placed between child or man, woman or man. Socrates. It is not the same. Didn't you say the virtue of man of the house or the university or the state, and that of the woman it's the interest of the house. You also insert politics by inserting the form that I didn't notice. I said so. And haven't you said, sorry, that isn't it possible to finance well the interest of the city or the house or anything else, seeing them in in a reasonable reasonable and just way. About the just because you talk about the city. You can't talk about a just if the city wasn't involved. Also in that because you talk about the men, you talk about the household. The family is the basic family. Thus you can talk about the just. That the first time that you just enter, that the politically as well. And when people finance their house, and you finance them in a just and reasonable way, in just and reason, we say that with the just, I guess, in itself, it's not bad. And in the not reason, it's not reason, it's moderation, sorry. It's not reasonable, it's moderation. Isn't in the just and the moderation we finance them? And to the same thing themselves, indeed, and it is to the same needs to themselves both if indeed they are good and the woman operation meaning sorry on about translation but it's meaning it's basically meaning that acted from the man as it was established beforehand. It appears and the kid and the old and the child and the old would what about the child, the kid and the child and the old man? Couldn't they be couldn't they be the opposite of moderation? Yes. Without the limits and without the limits or unjust, wouldn't people of them would be without limits and unjust, and some of them would be also good. Sorry. And what about the young man and the young child and the old man? Would they be good being in moderate and unjust. He combined here the good and unjust, the moderation and good and unjust. But by being moderate and pious or just, man. If so, all the men are good in the same way itself, because by gaining such things, good. All can follow. Because there is an element that independent, they have something shared. So that would be a virtue. Good. If so, and without in um, the same good, the same virtue itself, wouldn't the of course wouldn't the good, but I don't know, they wouldn't be good in the same way itself, meaning they distinct from the good. What's that? Right. And if they wouldn't have the same way of the same the same virtue itself, they wouldn't be good in the same way. Good connected now to the virtue. It's not clear how. And here we see everyone will see the good virtue itself to say and remember what it is to yes into your saying as I guess I will stop here because it's an end of a part. But I will see if I continue the read in the future. I hope it is informative, and if someone can correct me, I wasn't happy.